right, okay. Committee?
No, is it open?
Committee?
Yeah, it's a good one. Today, God, for coming.
Man, that feels good.
Right now, I closed it.
Welcome to INS for April 10th, 2024. Alder Campbell, on your behalf, let's stand and do the pledge.
Sure.
You can lead it, go ahead.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. You bet.
I just might add to that.
What's that?
I just might add to that, there was a communication I put in at my first couple of weeks. And I must say, and I think you guys can agree, we were the first committee to be here in person completely from the start. And I think it's just a reminder, and I like to have someone see this through to the finish line, that it reminds you of the oath you took, that you will take next week. And it reminds you every time you say that. I think any committee meeting or commission, it should be done. Anytime you're standing behind any type of government for the people, I think that's the biggest thing that you get out of it, is it reminds yourself that you took an oath to take care of your community.
Thank you, Alder Campbell. Appreciate that. All right, roll call. You'll start from the left. Go ahead.
Here.
Alder Campbell, I should say that first. Alder Campbell.
Here.
Alder Eck.
Here,
Alder Weary.
Present.
Alder Stoyer, I am here. All present and accounted for. Approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion?
motion approved.
Motion
Second.
by Eck, seconded by Campbell. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, that passes unanimously.
I share with you.
Approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve. Oh, sorry. Motion approved.
Motion by Eck, seconded
Second.
by Weary. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. Okay. Regular business. Number 1, consideration with possible action on request by Morgan Fick, 1469th Street, to rescind invoice number 183680 in the amount of $39 for improper tipper cart storage on March 12th, 2024 at 1469th Street. Director.
Okay, staff received a complaint about carts being visible from the street, so there's some information included in your packet. On 3/12, staff did go out on site. There are photographs included in the packet, and you can see that the carts are alongside of the garage, but visible from the street, so staff worked to have those relocated and levied the $39 charge for cart relocation. Morgan Fick is online
Right.
virtually.
Okay. All right, well, Alder Eck, did you want to say anything on this first, or do you want to open it up?
No, this isn't my district.
Oh, 9th Street.
It's mine.
That's yours.
Yeah.
My apologies.
I
Alder,
have
Weary, do
others
you have
from,
anything that
the
you
next
want-
one's mine, but
Okay.
Well, when this first, we went through all the discussions of, and we talked about this too, about how we want to do it going forward, but it was always my understanding when we passed this that if you stood directly in front of the house and you couldn't see it, it was fine. Not, as this one, you have to go way off to the side, it's actually behind some bushes, right? I mean, there's a line of bushes there, so.
Was this a complaint?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we'll open the floor shortly, so just hold on a second, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
So-
Okay, go ahead.
For me, you can't see it when you're looking right in front of the house. You have to actually go over to the side. You have to be at the right angle where you can see between the house and the bushes. I think it's pretty well
Well,
hidden where it is.
obviously, was there a complaint?
I guess so.
Yes.
There's always somebody complaining about something.
Well, right, well, that's usually it's complaint driven, so.
yeah.
All
I'll make a
right.
motion on the floor.
Okay, motion by Weary, do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Eck, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the floor is now open. Please state your name and address for the record, and then we will let you talk, and then we will obviously have some questions too. So go ahead. Your name?
Hi, my name is Morgan Fick,
Yes, and your address? Oh, well, you can mention.
1469th Street.
Okay. Okay, so you heard a little bit of what Director Grenier stated and what Alder Weary stated. Do you want to add some things to this? Anything? Do you have any Anything to say about it? What,
Yes, I've been living here for about 3.5 years, and I've always kept my garbage cans in the same spot on the side of the house, behind those bushes. I've never received a warning about them being stored improperly, so that's why I wanted to appeal this.
okay. All right, committee, do you have any questions? I think one of the questions I had is, you know, that you didn't get a warning, so we can talk about that afterwards. Okay. Committee, do you have any questions? No? All right, thank you, Morgan. We'll, if we need to open the floor again, we will, so stay tuned.
Motion to
Okay.
close the floor.
Motion by
Thank
Weir,
you.
Second.
seconded by Campbell. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I think that would be my one question, and I understand, you know, and I've heard that too, Director, where we, you know, if you stood in front of the house and you couldn't see it on either side, that was one thing. Corner lots, it's always been an issue, a problem. If you have a fence or some kind of block, you can do that. Obviously, somebody might have complained. And I see these around my district, you know, quite a bit more often than not, but I know it's complaint driven, so that's one thing. And I'm just wondering, is there something in place that if there is a complaint given, would there be a possible warning initially, and then you could try to fix that issue, or is it just, that's the way it is?
We do not issue warnings for these.
Okay. Go ahead, Alderman.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Stroyer, Your Majesty. He makes me call him that. Steve, Director Grenier, I know we had a brief discussion about possibly revisiting this ordinance. Is that something that staff is going to bring forward, or still thinking about it, or?
Well, that's actually something we're going to be talking about
Okay.
during the initiatives later on.
Because, you know, like Alder Stoyer said, you can probably go around Green Bay and see a lot of these, and the only ones that are really picked up are, you get a neighbor who gets bent out of shape about something or whatever, and then they report it, and then they get a fine. Where, you know, you can go down the block and probably see another 10 just like it. It's, I know we're complaint driven, right? We don't.
Correct.
We don't drive around and look for stuff,
We
because
do not.
we don't have that kind of time, right?
Right.
And I don't really want us to be that kind of city-state.
Good point. So-
I'm fine with rescinding it, just because I think because of the bushes and the location, and from what I've seen around and other ones that were rescinded, it falls right in line with other ones.
I guess I wanted, you know, maybe we'd have to open the floor again. I was wondering if Ms. Fisk would, if there's another alternative, that she talked about that at all? And, you know, for like his fence of some sort.
Does that get
I would-
included, Steve, when like a citation is issued, like here's what you need to follow?
Typically, what we will do is we will provide a copy of the city services guide that show where acceptable locations are. All the information is
Is
provided
there.
in our city services
And
guide.
includes fencing possibly
Correct.
and that type thing as
Yes.
well? Okay, so the information is there. Is there a time frame? Let's say, okay, let's say it's not done in 2 weeks, you could conceivably get another citation?
You could,
If
yes.
somebody complains, okay.
2
Okay.
weeks or 72 hours? Usually it's
Is it-
72 hours.
Is it 72? I don't know. Like I said, I know,
I know.
I mean, there's times where I've thought that the crews could go around and you could say, well, you could pick up so many issues, you know, when you're doing your routes, but the key thing is that, you know, you're doing your job, and, you know, complaint driven is a whole nother thing. I remember people complaining about long grass, like neighbors got long grass. I drove around my district and found 62 houses that had long grass. So it's kind of crazy.
Turn them all in?
No, I didn't. I should have, could have, but that was kind of, it's another point.
It's a point, right?
It's a point.
It's all.
Only
well,
57
wait.
of them.
Did I?
He knows.
You're gonna make me feel bad. Committee, anything else? I mean, what's your take? Does anybody want to make a motion, or?
I think it's ridiculous. I think we should, 3 years, never a complaint.
Well,
So you think we should rescind it?
I mean, some people leave their garbage cans out there for 2 days before they pick them up. Come on.
in the front,
You
yeah,
know?
that's another issue.
I mean, I won't have nothing to do, maybe I can just drive around town, write down all these things and keep everybody busy, probably have to hire staff.
You don't have anything to do.
You want to do
Come on.
that.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Well,
All right.
this is, you know, we definitely, I'd like to see an ordinance drawn up on this, at least on a warning. Nobody likes it in their garage if you got garbage in it. I mean, I don't like mine in there neither, but it's there, you know?
I'll defer, hopefully, somebody else can make the motion on this, it's my district, so, what you think best is.
I'll make a motion.
But the garage is set back, it's next to the setback garage, and there's bushes in front of it. You really have to be at the exact angle to be able to look in between the bushes and the
And
garage to see
there's,
it.
and there's probably cars parked there half the time
Yeah,
anyway.
so,
So, go ahead.
I would make a motion to
Rescind.
rescind.
Okay, motion by Campbell, do we have a second? Do we have a second?
You don't want to do that?
I'll second, yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, seconded by Weary.
I obviously agree.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that has, the rescinding is there, and I want to mention that this will be at City Council, April 16th, April 16th for final say, which is next Tuesday at 6 o'clock, but if you want to make sure that that goes through. But your request has been granted, so, all right? Okay, moving on. What's that?
Maybe wait for a reply.
Unless you
No,
can talk, 'cause the
I
floor's
wasn't
not
waiting
open.
for the.
Okay, all right, sorry.
Cyberspace.
Okay, so number 2, consideration with possible action on a request by Larry Erdman, 1428 Service Street, invoice 183412 in the amount of $39 for improper tipper cart storage on March 4th, 2024 at 1428 Service Street. Director?
Similar to the previous item, we did receive a complaint, so staff went out onto site on March 4th at 9:03 a.m. Included in your packet, there is a copy of the staff inspection, a copy of a photograph that was taken from the front of the house with the tipper carts visible around the corner, and then you had asked what we sent. There's a graphic showing the page from our city services guide that was provided.
Okay. All right,
That's the second.
Alder Weary, or no, this is Alder.
Used to be
Alder-
mine.
Yep,
Yeah.
used to be yours. Alder, do you have?
It's mine, and what I would want to do is just make a motion to open the floor, because there's somebody here to speak about it.
Okay. Motion by Eck, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Campbell, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? That passes. All right, the floor is now open,
Okay,
so you can, do you want to come up?
all right. Come up and talk.
We're
to
friendly
you guys.
people,
Most of us.
most of the time.
Okay.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Denise Erdman, 1428 Service Street.
Okay, Denise.
Okay. Melinda's got pictures, because I think Larry
Yep.
sent her pictures.
And I apologize, Steve, did I forward that to you? I believe I did, but it was in an email.
Not that I remember.
Okay. I did forward it to the committee members of what Larry sent me.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, and I believe on
in your,
March 4th, Larry purchased a new truck, and so did my daughter purchased a car. So we had 3 cars in our driveway. And we also have a fence we bought, because we've talked to Chris about it before, because somebody
That's the
walks
picture,
yes.
around our neighborhood and complains. And with the truck and the 2 cars, well, there was 2 trucks and a car, you would have had to walk up into our driveway to see the cans. I mean, from the street, I don't believe they were visible. So, and also, I did take some pictures with my phone. I didn't get it with the cars there, which I should have. But you can see in the picture, we have a fence. We purchased a $200 fence to put around the cans so that that wouldn't be a complaint by somebody. So-
I guess, I just had a quick question. I was just wondering, on this one picture that we have here, the cars are in front of the fence. Was there a reason for that?
You know, it probably, what
Maybe
was the
just-
4th? What was the, I don't know what
March
day the
4th.
4th was, but it might have been maybe, sometimes we were not able to put concrete all the way to the end of our property because of a neighbor next door didn't want it, so we had to put rotten granite. So in the winter, when it's snow and ice, sometimes it's hard to get around that fence, and I don't know, because my husband usually puts them away and takes them out, so I don't know if he forgot to do it that day, but,
To move the fence.
yeah, to move the fence
Sure.
to block them.
Yeah, but you have a fence there now, you do have a fence.
Yes, the fence, in fact, it's there right now if you
Okay.
go by our house, so.
And
And we
you
have a neighbor
normally-
down the block that I went and talked to him, because he's got the same thing, like our cans are, but he's got this little bush there, and in the winter, the bush doesn't have any leaves on it. You can see his cans, and, you know, it's,
So-
and when we got that, Larry drove around, there was like 8 or 9 people
Yeah.
that had their cans.
So normally you have it behind the fence?
Yes,
Normally?
yeah, yeah.
Now, in wintertime, what about that?
Most of the time, if we have a problem, like if it gets stuck in the ice, it's hard to move sometimes, so he might have left it,
And there's no room in the garage, right?
no,
Okay.
no.
All right, Alder Rec, do you have anything on this?
Well,
Questions?
and I've got different pictures here, and it shows it with the fence there.
Right.
And but either way, there's a truck over there. Even the
Yes.
picture that Director Grenier gave us, the truck is in front of it,
Yes,
in front of the cans. So it's a tough one, because if it's like you're moving this fence back and forth, and you forget one day.
and the
and-
ice, and the snow, in the winter, in the summer, it's always there, but in the winter, sometimes it's difficult. I mean,
And you've had this
And I
fence up
can't-
for a long time?
oh, we've had the fence for, I bet, 3 years, maybe, yeah, so, yeah, and it's hard, because, you know, I mean, the picture they took, if it might have been, usually my husband moves the cans, I don't move the cans, so I don't go out when it's 20 below and look to make sure the fence is there, but,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
The weather looked nice there, but anyway. So,
Well, I don't
Committee?
really have any more questions.
yeah, I don't have any more, so we're good.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
sure, I'm
Linda.
gonna see it here too, let's see. Oh, yeah, I think I covered pretty much what I wanted
Okay.
to say,
All right.
so.
Well, we have some pictures here too. All right. well,
Okay.
Thank you.
Do I?
Sure.
Motion to close the floor.
Motion by Weary to close,
Second?
seconded by Act. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, committee, what's your take? What's that?
Thank you. Didn't want to talk till I was recognized.
Oh,
Am I recognized? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Alder Weary.
I recognize you.
Wait, hold it. Alder
Yeah, this is
Weary.
one of the, I mean, you can see why people get ramped up about government red tape, right?
Okay.
You know, this one they have on the side, 20-foot tall cedar trees, right?
Yeah,
And then on the
Yeah.
other side, the garage, and then you went out of your way to buy
the fence,
the fence.
yep.
So, and then
Just
there's
a
cars in
perfect-
front of it, and the one time you don't,
Somebody.
and if you're at the right
complains.
angle, you can spot it. So it's a
Someone must have had to
technicality.
walk up our driveway to see it, because,
And there's the spirit of the law and the intent of the law, and we're gonna be talking about what we want to do with it moving forward.
I
This
just
is
sent it to
another
you.
one that
I just wanted
I
you to know what we
agree
were
we
looking at.
can override.
Yeah.
This one, it's harder to spot than the other one. That's
And,
right.
and.
Go ahead.
All right.
No, go ahead.
I do recognize
Yeah,
you.
I recognize you.
And it's a similar argument to what Alder Weary shared, and, it's like a, kind of this moving fence that you have that you put around it, and so you've gone out of your way to do this, and you've got the truck in front of there, he probably was thinking, oh, I've got the truck, it covers it up. It's so unfortunate because it's 100% complaint-based.
yes.
And so then
We gotta
they're
go.
doing, and I
Urgent.
point to you, but his department, their department, comes out and, they're acting on the complaint and doing this. So it's a rock, between a rock and a hard place, because they're trying to do what the ordinance says to do. But then we're looking at it, or I am, as I guess a human being, looking at this going, it's covered by the trucks. You've actually gotten the fence to cover it, so to catch you one day without it and then getting a fine. So it's a tough one, but I would say I would be in favor of rescinding it as well, and I know that probably doesn't make staff happy,
You want
but,
to
I'll
make a
make
motion?
a motion. Want to do it?
no, you go ahead.
I'll make a motion to get a BOGO on this one, buy one, get one. Same thing.
Rescind.
This
Okay.
definitely has.
Motion to rescind by Campbell,
Yes.
Second.
seconded by Eck. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
I-
Aye.
Motion to double it. Wait, no, that's
That's
not a serious reaction. Never been done before. Motion to double the fine.
So then you got a deal.
For the
So
next
it-
time.
I've seen him do some
Get a
things.
free pass. Get a free pass.
All right, so this.
But-
Do I have to get up and get arrested tonight?
No,
So we bail me out because I.
You're fine.
Maybe we can implement a overnight parking pass for the garbage cans?
Wow.
I'm done in 5 days.
We're a little loopy
I'm
tonight.
just saying,
I don't have
little
time.
creativeness.
Don't have time
Go
for
a
that.
long way.
So just making sure,
All right, and this goes to city council next week, just in case, it's final, this is a recommendation, but,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Chances
should I
are
go
good.
there?
yeah, you can go, or you can go online, you can go a Zoom meeting, but chances are,
April 6th?
Only if you think the new people
16th.
coming in are gonna mess it all up.
It's the 16th.
I'm just kidding. I don't wanna speak for anybody else other than me,
Okay,
so.
at what time?
I
It
never
starts at
will.
it'll be
6.
April 16th,
Okay.
6 o'clock,
Yeah.
so,
Hopefully you already have 5 votes going in, all right?
all right.
Yeah, we have 2
We
behind
must
you.
table,
I never assume anything, you never know.
okay. Attention, all right, we're done with that. Okay, number 3, consideration with possible action on a request by Jay Nyman, 1555 Forest Glen Drive, to rescind Green Bay parking citation number 690-92161 for violation of the no stopping, no standing zone on North Washington Street. Director,
Mr. Nyman operates an Uber service and was called to North Washington Street to collect a fare. While collecting his fare, Mr. Nyman stopped at a marked no stopping or standing zone and was issued a citation for violation of that zone. Mr. Nyman did receive a similar citation June 24th, 2023 in the same vicinity. The no stopping or standing zones were established by ordinance at the request of the Green Bay Police Department. These no stopping or standing zones prohibit on-street parking, providing the Green Bay Police Department the ability to observe activity on the sidewalk, and they've been highly successful in both cutting down on crime that had been occurring on the sidewalk outside of establishments, and also providing a place for responding officers to pull in if an event happened requiring the police presence. The no stopping or standing zones are well marked, and alternate arrangements have been made on the north side of the 200 block of Cherry Street for taxi and limo and rideshare pickup.
and the
So-
signage as such.
Yes, there is limo and taxi cab signage in
And I
that
know we've
Cherry
looked
Street.
at this a couple times. It seems like it happened one time. Is somebody here to speak on?
Yes.
that? You are, okay. Well,
And
we'll,
he's in my district.
right, so we'll open the floor shortly. Okay, we can talk, we can discuss that. All right, do we have a motion
Motion on the floor.
by Weary?
Second.
Seconded by Eck. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? It passes unanimously. Step forward and state your name and address, and then we will have at it.
Can I sit down?
You can sit.
Okay,
You-
so
yes.
Jay Nyman, 1555 Forest Glen.
Okay. You heard some of the...
I have. So I've been doing Uber and Lyft for the last 7 years. I had over 7,000 rides in this community. And as of right now, I don't even want to go downtown Green Bay anymore. And there's a lot, it's not just me, there's other drivers. Because if you go to Appleton, they have, right on College Avenue, they have big red signs that says Uber and Lyft, 5-minute parking. Because this particular fine, I actually had, my customer was in my vehicle, I had my hazards on. So it's no different, in my opinion, than a FedEx driver pulling on the side of the road, delivering a quick package and coming back. I wasn't parked there for any other reason except to pick up that fare. I wasn't waiting for a fare. I wasn't waiting for these people. I was picking them up.
Were you in the car?
I was in the car with my hazards on. And there was a police officer, and I know there was a police officer sitting right there on Cherry Street. You know, we run into the police all the time down there, and they don't ever, there's a supervisor on South Washington, when he works, he's like, points a spotlight at us, he's like, just back up a little bit, this is where we want you to go, it's a 15-minute loading zone. But I don't know how a municipality like Appleton They have, College Avenue's crazy busy, probably busier than North Washington Street. And they have big red signs that doesn't allow anybody else to park there at these hours except for the Lyft, Uber, taxi, limo drivers. I don't understand why we can't do that here. I mean, and you had brought up, I had 2 of them, right? So I paid them both. That's not like my biggest concern. I paid them both. We just have to, it doesn't make any sense to me that we are taking people that otherwise would be driving drunk, because we don't pick up a lot of sober people at midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. And so we would rather have them, go around looking for a vehicle than stop for 35 seconds, a minute. It
What time was this?
it was 12, I think 12:36 if I remember correctly.
In the morning?
In the morning,
In the
yes,
morning,
yeah.
Okay, committee, do you have anything? Questions?
Excuse me. I'm sorry, I got this tickle. And Jay reached out to me, and I actually had put on the, originally put on the agenda, Alder Kinnear. Maybe that's what you're supposed to be doing, running for Alder. Director
Sure,
Kinnear,
retires when you're-
he called me about it because I was saying I wanted to look into it not being a no standing, no parking, but change it just to no parking zone. But the PD is, they're the ones who asked for it. Parking division did not. The police department did, and they have no interest in pulling that back. So I took it back off the agenda because I respect what the police department want to do. I only kind of went that way because in talking to Chris Pierlot, he said that the parking division would be okay with people stopping there. And I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, I'm just saying that it was because the police that wanted it that way. But someone coming up, picking somebody up, and having your person in there and
Do
getting
you have any questions? for-
fine. Oh, I'm sorry, I guess that would be where I should be. So when they came up to, were you asked to move
No,
by the parking division?
no, I was
Okay.
not. And there is another vehicle that looks just like mine, except it's an XL. But the vehicle was an XL, so mine's just a regular Yukon. So, no. That's what I was kind of looking for over there, because my run before that, I picked someone up on Holmgren Way and brought them to the Ramada Way. And that was at 12:18. So me picking them up at 12:18, bringing them to Ramada Way, driving all the way back to downtown Green Bay. This parking citation, I believe, was at 12:36. So it's not like I was sitting there for a half hour waiting for these people,
Okay.
And you said that the people you were picking up
They
had
were
just gotten into the car?
Right, they were in my vehicle, and so I was sitting there with my hazards on. People were in my vehicle, they'd just gotten in my vehicle. I look out in my rearview mirror, and I see the parking division behind me. So I put it in park. I went back there, and I said, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Do you want me to mail this parking ticket to you, or do you want me to hand it to you?" I said, "Well, I drive for Uber and Lyft." He goes, "I don't care." And that was our conversation. So I took the parking ticket. I just saved the city 55 cents from it.
Instead of being mailed.
Okay,
Sorry, that was funny.
okay. And Alder, are you
Thank you,
done,
Mr.
Alder?
Chairman.
Yeah,
Alder-
thank you.
Alder
Thank you,
Woodard?
Mr. Chairman. Was this on the parking lot side or right on the boss's side?
It'd be right in front of Black Saddle, like directly in front of Black Saddle.
So on Cherry?
It'd be on Washington.
Oh, Wash, it was on Washington. I
Yeah,
was-
right,
The pickup
Oh,
is
one last
supposedly
one.
on,
Because-
supposed to be on Cherry.
right. Because on the parking lot side, there's no place to, that'd be like us pulling over on Main Street. You just don't do that.
So where is the zone to pick up on Washington?
On
I'm
Cherry.
Familiar with it.
That's
where
on
it is?
Cherry.
Evidently, yeah, I don't know.
right? Didn't you say it's on Cherry?
There is no zone on North Washington. North Washington is posted no stopping or standing midnight to 3 a.m. on the north side of the 200 block of Cherry.
Okay.
So up against the parking
Gotcha.
lot, but on the Cherry
Okay.
Street side is where the designated pickup.
Is there that much room there, really? I mean,
It's almost the entire block.
okay, 200 block of Cherry. Okay.
Well, I do have a question for
What?
Director Grenier, but we can wait till we close the floor. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got, okay. Do we have any more questions?
No, I can't think of anything.
We may call you back.
Okay.
So, all right.
Motion to close the floor.
Second.
Motion by X, seconded by Campbell. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right. Committee, do you have anything?
So I do have a
Go
question.
ahead, Alder X.
And on the phone, my understanding, so did you say there is a sign saying this is where to pick up on Cherry, or you were saying you were
It's
gonna
a,
put
no,
more
there are
signage?
signs up, but the signs currently state taxi limo.
Okay,
So what we would like to do is we would like to have conversations with the parent organization for Lyft and Uber to find out, do they have the ability to direct their drivers if they're picking a fare up on the 200 or 300 block of North Washington, can they say that there's a designated Uber Lyft pickup zone here and that's where you need to meet your fare? We need to have that conversation. There has to be, because I've traveled to other cities and called for a Lyft, called for an Uber, and they have directed me a block or two away from where I currently was standing, then that's where the designated pickup zones are. There has to be some way to geofence that.
okay, and did you, in our phone conversation, it sounded like you were gonna be trying to get a hold of them, and it doesn't sound like you touched base with them yet.
I've not had an opportunity to.
Okay, I just wondered if you got anywhere with that, okay. But right now, it doesn't say Uber, Lyft, it just says
It
taxi.
says taxi and
limos.
limo, correct.
You know, because we were talking about revisiting this issue, moving up, as far as signage and whatever. Is that something, Director, that we'd be looking at to revisit, I would think, if the committee decides or somebody coming down the pike that we could look at this? Again, as far as just particulars or a refresher, I don't know, but just to look at this issue again.
To look at establishing some dedicated rideshare pickup zones, we will be looking at that. And we're going to be looking at it sooner rather than later. We would like that to be in place by the time the warm weather finally arrives to stay and we get more outdoor activity in the downtown area.
Was that brought forward in the parking study? That
It was not,
it was not, okay.
no.
Because I know that was fairly comprehensive, and I would
No,
think
we
that-
have a concern that's been brought to our attention. We're obligated to take a look
Sure,
at it.
no, I understand.
But
Okay,
relative to Alder X point earlier about potentially looking at the zones themselves, when she offered that communication to me, I did reach out and have a conversation with the police department, and they are, to say that they're not interested in looking at this again would be an understatement.
He called it a buzzsaw, so.
who did? We called it a
You're going
buzzsaw?
into a buzzsaw, yeah. So I
Yeah.
said, okay, let's take that back off. So-
Well, okay, well, Alder Wery?
No,
You're good? Okay. Committee, anybody want to bring something forward, or?
Just got to get in the limo business instead.
Why?
Okay,
What?
well,
I mean, I'm not aware of this spot, but if it allows for one and not the other, it seems kind of.
No, it's supposed to be for both, it just doesn't say Uber and Lyft at this point.
I think looking at this situation, if, the person had the flashers on, it might have been out of their car, it could have been 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever, and that could be an issue. But they were in the car.
That would be the difference between no parking and no stopping or standing. If you are in attendance of the vehicle, you are not parked, you are stopped or standing.
So the
The
sign
zone is
says,
very explicit, no stopping or standing. PD does not want any vehicles in those parking stalls on North Washington during the hours of midnight to 3 a.m. Because the vehicle, the presence of the vehicle occludes their view of the sidewalk and inhibits their ability to pull in if they need to.
we might have to open the floor again, but I guess the question I had, we were just talking about, let's say Appleton per se, the way they have the signage and the way it's here, that I wanted to ask, maybe was it brought forward that Uber or Lyft know where they should park? Are there, is that something that is readily available to these services, that they know that, okay, 200 block of Cherry Street, you need to park there, but you have no stopping or standing? So I don't know, I'm just trying to, I don't know, maybe I'm not making sense here, I'm sorry.
There is stopping or standing, I think, on Cherry.
Cherry, you are allowed, yes, there is
Yes.
almost the entire block is dedicated for taxi and limo type parking to allow for folks to
And I-
pick up fares from
I
downtown
guess
Seventh.
the question I had is that various services like that, you would think over time, over the last couple of years or so, that they would understand that that's what it is, that you would pick up there, right? You would think.
I would like to think so, but
That's, okay. Was that brought forward and we were talking? I don't know if it was.
Motion to open the
Motion on the
floor.
floor by Eck, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Campbell, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, you kind of heard the question, Jay, are you aware as a driver, you said downtown's kind of tough, moving
Yeah.
around, et cetera, but are you informed by your employer of places that you can go, stop or
No,
go?
no, all it does is it strictly just gives us an address. You're picking up at 121
Okay.
South Washington Street, that's it.
Right, but
Yeah,
if you've done this enough, would you be aware that, you know what, I can't stop here, but I can stop there, that type of thing?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I mean-
for instance, when the Packers are in town, right? Where you have very specific places where we have to pick up people. And everybody knows it. It's not just us, the people know it. See, and I think that's where the biggest miscommunication is. You can put on the driver's app, hey, park here, but if the person doesn't know where they're supposed to go, or the bars don't know where to send them, like at Stadium View and, the places over but in the Lambeau District, the bars tell the people, you have to go here.
Sure, there might be a little more room, while they're at.
Right, for sure.
You bring up a good point, and so that's what I'm wondering, when they ask for an Uber or Lyft ride, you get sent to the address they're at.
Right.
Is there any way for you to communicate to the people to go on Cherry Street or wherever, in these cases, like, so that they know to come get you? Otherwise, how do they know you're there?
Yeah, well,
Possible, yes. I could say, hey, I'm at 200 Cherry Street. And as long as they're from Green Bay, they know where 200 Cherry Street is. If they're not from Green Bay, they panic. And we are talking about people that have adult beverages in. We're not talking about this committee. Right? It's just the bottom line.
yeah.
Can I say something?
The floor's open.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Cherry Street parking that you're referencing, I have yet to see a taxi cab sitting there, or a limo maybe every now and then. But is that enforced? Is that parking there enforced that, hey, it's only taxi and limo between this hour and this hour? Because if there's no spots there, how far are we gonna go before, people are just gonna say, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna just drive home. I'm not gonna sit there around and look for you.
Okay. Any other questions, committee?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll come up with something else, who knows? All right, well, thanks again.
Yeah.
Moving town.
Motion
Motion to close the floor.
by Eck, second by Campbell, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, well, I'm leaning on you guys a little bit. I don't know, what's your thought?
Torn on this one, Mr. Chair.
What's that?
I'm torn, because on one hand, there's the previous violation, so, it's a known thing, right? But on the other hand, we see that there is an issue that we need to resolve, so it is a good public service to us, to everybody that you're here contesting this, to make it a bigger issue, so. And I can see where it would be confusing. I've gone to many cities too, and there's usually designated spots where you pick up and drop off, but I can see if you're not all with it. It's easier to pick them up right in front, but if, yeah.
I never used Uber, so I have no
Oh,
idea. My husband used to drive Uber, but I,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
a little bit.
He picked you up?
He picked me up, yeah, in high school.
Yeah.
We've
Nice.
been together
In an
since
Uber?
then. Yeah, by an Uber. No, he didn't like it. He didn't like the app. He didn't like, he just didn't do it, but that was him, so.
Okay.
I don't know much about it.
We'll be seeing this in the next couple weeks, you said before it gets warm, so next agenda or next one after that?
Well, we've got some work to do.
Okay.
Not only reaching out to the companies to see if there's something we can do to the companies, but Mr. Nyman brings up some good points. We definitely want to reach out and have a conversation with the Tavern League as well.
Sure. That would be good.
Yeah,
That
they
would
shouldn't be
very good.
directing people, yeah, just go what's front you.
Yeah, they gotta have better information. I guess for me, you know, I know you had another ticket before this, but I think the fact that you were in the car, I know it says no standing, but I don't know, it's just one of those situations early in the morning, you're just trying to get somebody quickly, get them out. I don't know, I'd be a little more lenient on this one, I think.
Motion to rescind.
Second.
Motion by Wery, seconded by Campbell, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? You said you already paid the tickets. so
I
is that-
did.
So is that gonna be?
Well,
you
they
have to
did
work
too,
that out?
didn't you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had
so
to
it's-
pay the ticket too.
So,
It's a reimbursement.
If this is,
yeah,
if this goes through the council, it would be a
Council.
refund.
okay.
You get a voucher towards Green Bay merchandise. We have Green Bay apple.
We have all kinds of stuff here.
Oh, yeah, Steve,
Yeah.
Steve, we got a goodie bag.
Yeah, Parks has goodie bags. We don't have it. I couldn't even give you a rain barrel because we haven't approved it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll get
Well,
there.
everybody's
That's a good point
asking
there.
for them
We're gonna have to
already.
talk about that one, but yeah.
All right,
Uh,
all right,
But I-
thank you.
I think it brought awareness, and that's good. We
And that's
can
good.
This
see
is
it.
something that we need to,
And this goes to council on
Figure out.
Tuesday, but, you know, a lot of good discussion, you know, like I said, we have to look at it from both sides,
Right.
you
And
know.
that's, you know, honestly,
Oh, not.
Oh.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, well. You're out of order. I'm out of order.
Most
The
of
floor's
them.
not open, but it'll go to
Both
council.
of you are certainly welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you have other things to do tonight, feel free to.
yeah.
I
So
do,
go
but
ahead.
this is interesting
Huh?
to see how it goes.
You can tell all your neighbors.
Yeah.
All right.
And excited.
I could drive around and see how many garbage cans are seen
No,
from the
Trust me, I
road.
didn't want my
Pretty
last
sure.
meeting to cost you guys a whole bunch of money.
Mine's only a couple blocks from yours, and I'm pretty sure the person who
Okay.
lives right in between.
Well,
Yep, you
He's
know.
got one side of the road, I got the, or part of it, whatever.
Yeah.
Silencio. But this is all humorous, but we must move on. Order. I'm trying. Okay, let's
Finally,
go,
we'll
let's
get a
move on.
chairperson in this next session who can take control of the meeting.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna leave. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Take care of yourself. Okay, number 4.
Yeah.
Consideration with possible action on a request by Department of Public Works to award the contract for hauling, disposal, and mobilization of contaminated soil to Peters Concrete Company as a 1-year contract with an estimated total of $70,250. Director.
Okay, so every year we seek solicitations or quotes from qualified vendors for the labor and equipment to load, haul, and properly dispose of stockpiled petroleum contaminated, lead contaminated, solvent, or solid waste contaminated soil to a WDNR approved bioremediation and landfill facility, the GFL Hickory Meadows landfill in Hilbert, Wisconsin. Either Hickory Meadows, the Waste Management Ridgeview Secure Landfill in Whitelaw, or the Allegheny County landfill for contaminated soils that are generated during our reconstruction projects. On a per-call basis intermittently from spring 2024 through fall 2024, we have identified 7 projects where we think we're going to be generating soil. Any resulting purchase agreement based on this request for bids shall become the contractual agreement for the required services. Each section contained herein and any addenda and response from the successful vendor will also be incorporated by reference. I apologize, we weren't able to get a copy of the actual contract here, but we did put this out. Peters was our low vendor last year, and they are a low vendor again this year. So staff does recommend awarding this contract to Peters Concrete.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Heck, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
That passes unanimously. All right, Number 5, consideration with possible action on a request by Department of Public Works to obtain an easement for sidewalk and storm sewer purposes from Pickles Manufacturing LLC between School Place and Howard Street. Director.
Okay, this is tied into the School Place, Howard, and Oakland Avenue reconstruction projects that were delayed last year and are going on this year. For certain public improvements out there, including sidewalk and storm sewer, are required to be upgraded as part of those street reconstructs. For continuity of service, staff has determined that accommodations crossing the Pickles manufacturing property are necessary. Staff has met with and negotiated an easement along the east side of the Pickles manufacturing property to provide the easement. This sidewalk will further serve as access from the residential area to the north down to Seymour Park. So included in the packet, we've given you a copy of the easement language, the legal language itself. But more importantly, there are 2 exhibits at the back that show where the storm sewer easement and sidewalk easement will be located against the far eastern edge of the Pickles manufacturing property.
So that is a sidewalk coming in. There's nothing there right now.
Correct.
Okay, well, that'll be good for the neighborhood, I would think.
Yes.
Open it up a bit. Okay. Committee, move to approve? Motion
Second.
by Weary, seconded by Eck. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. All right, number 6, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to approve amendment number 3 to professional services agreement with Ayers Associates in the amount of $9,710 for providing drafting services for the city portion of the Country Club Road reconstruction project. I presume that's with
Sidewalks and all.
the sidewalk, et
Sidewalks.
cetera. Anyway, Director.
Well, and somehow Ms. Fix
Oh, I was gonna say, why is that on there?
information wound up coming under 2 items.
I did
So
notice
we
that.
provided you a copy with the amendment tonight. Again, $9,710. This is associated with our Country Club Road reconstruction project. Having limited staff here in-house and Ayers being our design consultant, we reached out to Ayers to ask them for assistance in getting the remaining drafting work done to incorporate our storm sewer information into the plant, or our sanitary sewer information into the plant. So the cost of that is $9,710. In and of itself, that would be something that is approvable at a staff level, but because it's part of a larger contract, that's more than $25,000, we do need to get council approval on that.
The funding is,
Funding is in place.
okay. Committee?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Eck.
Is that what you're looking at me like?
Yeah.
Second?
Seconded by Weary. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? That passes unanimously. Number 7, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to enter into a routine bridge maintenance and operation agreement between the city and the Wisconsin Department of Transportation for state fiscal year 2025. Director.
These come before us every year. It's an agreement between the Wisconsin Department of Transportation and the city of Green Bay to provide mutual assistance for routine operations and maintenance work that occurs on our 3 downtown lift bridges. As a reminder, the Bart Starr Memorial Bridge and Don A. Tillman Memorial Bridge are both owned by WISDOT, whereas the Ray Nitschke Memorial Bridge is owned by the city of Green Bay. So during routine cleaning and any maintenance work that needs to occur on the 3 bridges, City of Green Bay provides traffic control and some of our electricians' time, and then most of the cleaning services are provided by WISDOT. So
Okay.
working together with them, this maintenance agreement does allow for that exchange of services.
Seems to work out well. We've been doing
We've
this
been
for a
very
while.
happy with it,
It's been working like this for some time.
many years.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. All right. Number 8, consideration with possible action on a request by HR Green Bay owner LLC, Hyatt Regency Green Bay, to assign parking rights to 333 Main LLC in accordance with the provisions of the parking agreement between the city and Hyatt dated August 31st, 2012. Director.
Okay, back on August 31st, 2012, the city and the Hyatt entered into a parking agreement whereby the city agreed to provide parking in our municipal ramps for Hyatt personnel. You may remember at least Alder Weary, who was on council at that time, that was all part of the Associated Bank headquarters relocation to downtown Green Bay. So with that, I think there are currently 75 stalls that we are renting off to Hyatt personnel. Hyatt is in the owner, HR Green Bay owner LLC, is selling to 333 Main LLC, so it's a different owner than what is listed in the agreement. The original agreement for 2012 does provide for successor assigned rights. We need to take that through for council approval, so no conditions are changing, simply a new owner of record, so staff recommends approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by X, seconded by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Yes, unanimous. Number 9, consideration with possible action on request by the Department of Public Works to approve the proposed 2024 mill and pave program. The program includes milling and replacing 4,735 linear feet of pavement for an estimated cost of $350,000. The program will be funded using bonded money from streets that have been delayed for 1 year. Director.
So this is a program we discussed earlier in the year that we were going to come through and study. Staff has done some study on it and has determined that there is just cause for us to implement a program of this nature. We're starting a little on the small side this year, so we can gather some of our own data, but in our conversations with other municipalities around the state have been successfully utilizing similar programs with great success. So we would like to go ahead and implement this project this year. We've got some streets that just simply due to a lack of design time, we are not going to be able to complete this year, so we have some money available. At $350,000, it's a relatively low-cost expenditure for what we hope to gather as far as getting some additional road mileage completed. And then we're going to use this information for the purpose of developing a much larger mill and pave program moving forward.
I like that idea a lot.
Love it.
What's that?
I
know you
I don't
like
see
that.
anything in my district, though.
Well, I've got a couple. Thank you.
Well,
I know you do. I know
this one's going to be a little harder to try, we do try to spread things out and make sure that all districts get represented. This is going to be a little bit more difficult because of how we're doing the street selection. We're selecting streets with a much higher PASER rating than we have in the past because we want to make sure the bottom layer of asphalt is still competent. And we're also looking for relatively newer streets that don't require underground infrastructure. We don't have to update sanitary storm or water. That's the whole purpose of this, is simply to mill off 1.5 inches of the top surface layer and put 1.5 inches to 2 inches of new asphalt down. It will restore ride quality, and visually, it will look like a newer road.
Will it let, as far as life expectancy for something like that? Just ballpark.
It's hard to get into without getting into the engineering. But what you look at, typically there is a pavement degradation curve that we look at. So it's the rating, the numerical rating versus time. And that curve degrades. So as you get down, we typically resurface down around a 3 or so. Reconstructs are down at a 2. And you bring that back up to say an 8 or a 9. Okay, and then you start that curve over.
Right, but it's just...
Here what we're doing is we're trying to catch them at a 6 and bump them back up to a 9. So we anticipate we could add another 15 years worth of life by catching them earlier, that they won't get back down to a 6 for another 10 to 15 years. And this may be one of the ways to help cut into, we got such a backlog of 3s and 4s right now that we're having a tough time keeping up with it. And as we fall further behind, we have more 6s that become 3s. What we're going to try to do is intercept a lot of those 6s and bump them back up to 9s and try and clear that middle block out.
That makes sense. Do you find that, go ahead, Alder.
I was just gonna make a motion to approve.
Well, no, I guess the question I had, what was it? Anyway.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm getting older.
Stop the presses.
I love this.
No,
This is great.
no,
No,
I
I
think
meant
this-
about,
let me, okay,
Oh,
here's
yeah.
the question, here's the question. I was wondering about other, over time, you know, you said you've been looking at this for some time. Is this a program that you have seen in other communities, or
Many other communities in Wisconsin.
have you been doing this
are
for a
using it.
while?
Yes,
Okay,
remember, I
we
think-
really haven't
we have
pursued
not.
it. And was there any initial reason possibly to just, you know, maybe it was just time to take a look at it? Or, you know,
What really pulled the trigger was an offshoot of a request that came out of Traffic Bike and Ped to take a look at our criteria for traffic calming.
oh, okay.
And while I was reaching out and having conversations, this was something that had been in the back of our mind. It's something that Assistant Director Burnett and I have been talking about. While we were reaching out and having the conversation regarding traffic calming, we broached this subject with the same municipalities to get the feedback.
Okay. Well, that's good, I'm glad you look forward to that. Now, what about, you know, this is maybe off the topic a little bit, but I know we've been counseling, you know, DPW, they've been looking at a possible utility down the road is, you know, I don't know, that's for another conversation, I would think.
Completely separate.
I know, it is, but I'm just saying that that might be an alternative, because, you know, we've had the wheel tax, we've had this issue, you know, and I know it's somewhat separate, but there is some commonality that we want to get better roads, so, that's it.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Campbell, any other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. All right. Where are we at? Okay, number 10.
Yes.
Consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to enter into a three-party agreement with WisDOT and Grafe USA Inc. for the Manitowoc Road Sidewalk Project, WisDOT Project ID 4987-14-00. The total cost of the design is estimated to be $405,610.86, of which the city will receive federal funds in the amount of $129,163. The required remaining funds will be bonded in 2025. Director?
Okay, a while back, we brought forward a state municipal agreement for the funding of this project that the committee approved. We've included a copy of that in the packet for reference. Now what we have is the city staff does not stay current on the DOT design process. It's very involved, and there's a lot of steps to it, and you can't miss any steps. So when we have to do design work on a DOT-funded project, we typically will hire a consultant, and we just talked about an extension to the AIRS contract, so same kind of thing here. Grafe Incorporated has been selected as the design consultant. So what the DOT has provided us, we've included a copy in the packet, is a three-party contract. So it's a contract between us, the DOT, and the consultant. And it simply states the terms and conditions of what they're going to be doing and how the payment gets made. Staff does recommend award of this contract.
And again, the funding is taken care of, or it's all spelled out pretty well?
Yes.
Okay. Federal funds and such?
Well, it's a combination of federal funds and city funds, and the city's already committed by signing the SMFA previously.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Moved by Weary, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Eck, any other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. All right, moving along here. I'm glad, remember we weren't even gonna have a meeting?
Would have been a super huge meeting.
That would have been,
The
yeah.
next one.
Yeah, it would have been.
I did just talk to the mayor about that
Yeah.
before I came here.
Well, good. Well,
So did
He
I.
couldn't remember that we had this full, my first week, it was a full agenda, and he said, I didn't remember, and I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
yeah, it was full.
I looked at
So-
ours, yeah, anyway, yeah.
Just,
true.
you know, reminder.
Number 11, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to approve the award for the purchase of rain barrels to Green Lane Environmental and Recycling Services, Inc. in the amount of $29,000, $29,016. Director,
We started a rain barrel program that was ARPA funded back in 2022. It has proven to be a overwhelming success. There's huge demand for it within population across Green Bay. So the stormwater utility is looking to pick that program up. This is funded out of stormwater operating funds. This is money set aside during the preparation of our stormwater budget, so the funding is in place. Again, we do have to go out for competitive quotations on this. This was bid through the purchasing department, and a copy of the vendors who came in is included in the packet.
How many barrels are we looking at? I mean,
I
know
don't
it might-
remember
it
the
might be
total
there.
number.
Anybody remember? No.
416?
Is that what you can see?
That sounds right.
And I know is it a lottery kind of thing, or, you know, as far as,
People do have to sign up for them,
you sign up online,
yes.
but it's not first come, first served.
I don't know.
It sounds like it's kind of, you know, Melissa was saying something to the effect that it might be more of a lottery kind of thing, or she used some terminology.
Pretty sure one side of the bridge, Mason Street, we put the rain barrels, and on the other side, we just line people up, and then you just say, go, and then the first one's over the bridge. Tackle the rain barrel.
He started
You
so
can't, you
seriously.
can't buy this kind of, you can't buy this.
Kind of like an Oklahoma land rush, yes.
The sooner
Oh my
this
goodness.
ends, the better.
That or
You
roll
like
down
that?
Bear
That is
Creek.
pretty good. Oklahoma.
That wasn't bad, that wasn't bad. All right, where are we? Are we finished
Yes.
discussing? All right, I know Melinda, or Alderek, you had some question about that, as far as the funding. I know initially it was ARPA, but
And it
then
was
it's
ending
gone to the
last summer.
stormwater sewer.
Yeah,
So-
and it was ending last summer. It was a
Yeah.
2-year program of
Sure.
ending. Well, because, and I think what you're referring to, I contacted you because it came up on my Facebook feed as sign up for a rain barrel already. And
Mm-hmm. Which
then
means that we
it,
haven't
like,
approved it
and
yet.
actually I was like, well, where did the money come from? Because it ended last summer.
Right.
And then I saw it's on our agenda, so I just thought,
Yep.
it seemed to be pulling the
Missing.
cart before the horse? Is that how the saying goes?
Sure.
So I just thought it was,
Does this help, after hearing what the director said about it?
well,
You know,
I mean, it hasn't been approved and it's being offered to the public.
right, but Director, we'd have to approve this initially before this even happened then. You know, if we said no, of course, it could be overturned in council too, but
Correct.
it has to be approved here.
Correct.
Right, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
We didn't approve it, but it was being offered,
cart before the horse.
cart before the horse.
All right, well,
Right?
what do you want to do with the cart or the horse? I'm leaving it to you.
Does anybody else have anything to say?
Anybody else?
Well, I mean, in the past, I remember, I got a rain barrel a number of years ago, probably a decade ago.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did, you know, eventually wore out. Maybe we could even look at, you know, somebody, you know, nominal fee or something, so we could recover some of it, and then we could do more, right? It might allow us to do more if we recovered some of it. I'll make a
Well,
motion to approve.
this year
I don't
would
have
be
a
tough.
problem with it, yeah.
This
I'm just
year would be-
looking ahead.
Yeah, maybe for future reference, maybe we can talk about that. All right, motion by Weary, do we have a second? I'll second. Any other discussion, all in favor?
I just wonder if I take some of my blue barrels and put them out there, they probably would be disqualified for catching rain. And I'd probably get a citation on them.
I have blue barrels.
Just asking.
There's nothing on that.
Mine are in your backyard.
You can use different.
They're not visible from the streets.
You won't get
If they're not visible from the
ticketed.
street.
Well, that's what I would do then.
No, no. Anyway, so we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay?
I wanted
So,
to say
and what do you say?
Oh,
Alder
well,
Campbell?
you have to say,
Silence
yes,
is
yea or
Just because I,
nay.
no.
He didn't say
Campbell?
either one.
Yeah,
so-
well, so what do you say?
You don't have to.
Alder Campbell?
You don't have to.
You don't have
Nay.
to. Nay?
No, he
don't
said
have
he
to.
wanted to say nay.
Oh,
Did you say nay?
Nay.
Okay, it's 2 to 2.
I mean, yay. I
He
did
thought I
say nay.
was taking it and he couldn't say
I-
it. I'm
I
like,
said
no, it's
nay.
actually,
Please
all of us
don't
are
hurt
supposed to
me.
say one or the other.
Please.
It's going to, it's
Our
going to.
last
I'm
meeting.
making it as tough as
It goes to
possible.
Come on. So you say nay.
2 nays.
2 nays.
Yeah.
Sounds like a salad dressing.
2 days.
2 and A's, all right. So 2 and 2, it fails for lack of vote majority. This will go to city council, so that can be talked about later. Okay, number 12. Consideration with possible action on a request by Department of Public Works to not award contract WSG 1-24 salt storage shed concrete repairs due to need to reallocate funds to East Side Garage Salt Storage Shed Design Services. Who wrote this? That's pretty amazing. Did you write this?
Yes.
Hey, just
You know, I
dig
should
her
have
in there.
practiced that first.
Yeah.
That,
Good
that's
chairperson
some
would have.
good.
I do.
What's the word? What's the word? Something ship. What do you call it? Wordsmithing?
Salt
Wordsmithing.
storage shed, concrete repair.
Okay, Director.
We had money in our 2024 capital program to complete some repairs to the concrete walls on the lower part of our West Side Garage salt storage facility. Project was already out for bid when we found out that there were issues that needed immediate attention at the east side salt storage facility. So staff is making a recommendation, seeing as we could not cancel the bid, we had to play that out. Receive the bids, but elect not to award any bids and to reallocate that funding under the next item.
I see. Okay.
So motion to approve as written.
Correct, a motion to approve would be in order.
Denying it.
Right.
Can
Yeah.
you repeat
All right.
how much that is?
Okay, committee?
Second.
Oh, we do it, so.
This sounds like a
Alderette?
referendum. So say yes, I'm really saying no. Yeah, pretty much.
So, Alderette, you made the motion?
Yes, I
Okay,
did.
and then seconded by Worry. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
all opposed? That passes. All right, number 13, right?
Correct.
Consideration with possible action on a request by Department of Public Works to reallocate capital funds bonded for repairs to the West Side Garage Salt Storage Shed to emergency repairs, replacement of the East Side Garage Salt Storage Facility. Director?
Okay, so staff requested $65,000 worth of bonded funds to complete routine repairs and upgrades to the salt storage facility at the West Side Garage for 2024. On March 29 of this year, engineering staff were informed of a structural failure in the wall systems at the East Side Garage Salt Storage Facility. Engineering staff mobilized to the site and did complete an inspection of the facility. During the inspection, it was noticed that several columns have severe longitudinal cracking. Now, this salt storage facility is approximately 30 feet to the eave line, and we have cracks in those columns that run from the roof line to the ground. So the columns are essentially splitting in half,
So,
including one column that has completely failed. So in the photographs that we provided to you, the third photograph in the bunch is along the north wall of the facility, and you can see that one of the columns
this
is cracked and is leaning in towards the top. In addition,
That's wood, right? So-
yes,
Okay, go ahead.
along both the north and the west wall, so the back wall that faces towards the oil storage tank, the drop-off, where people can drop off waste oil, that entire west wall has pulled away from the roofing members by about 4 inches and is in imminent danger of falling. The building is in structural failure and needs to be repaired or replaced. Repairs on the west side facility should be deferred for 1 year, and the funding should be reallocated to get design services from qualified structural engineer in there to determine whether or not the building can be salvaged, or are we gonna have to take it down and
Yeah.
design a new one.
How old is that structure?
This structure dates back to, I believe it dates back to the town of Preble,
Oh, okay.
pre-1965.
All right, so I suppose if you thought of a new structure, it might be different materials, would think? You know, I mean, is
It could be.
Well, right now, this is a fix, right?
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck,
Second.
seconded by Campbell. Alderweireld?
Thanks. I just had, I jotted down my favorite words. Steve always has the big engineering words. Staff mobilized longitudinal cracks and imminent failure.
No, that's kind of, that's kind of a mapping
That's my
term.
shirt, I know, it's like,
Because longitude goes like this.
But it-
You know, it all kind of
man, very, very,
But it
yeah,
goes, yeah,
it's very precise, precision.
all right, okay.
Yeah, I
so-
agree, but I
We like that.
do.
I don't
All
think we
right,
voted.
so
We had a motion and a second.
in
and
a
I don't think
second,
we
all in
voted.
favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? I knew we'd get to that.
Yeah,
I
eventually.
knew it. I
I
knew we
think there
would.
was more of a scientific.
Okay,
term for
number
salt,
14,
wasn't there?
consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public
Scientific
Works.
term for salt.
I don't do that.
ALC.
Oh, that's weird.
To award the following contract at a staff level and report the award at the next Improvement and Services Committee meeting following the contract award. Do I need to read what it is? Consultant services for contaminated soils and groundwater determination for the contract 2024 City Road Construction Projects, Light Memorial Park, Seymour Park West, and Finger Road Softball Field Complex. Director?
So there again, what we're going to be doing is obtaining consultant services for determining the types of waste that need to be addressed from a variety of projects that we have, including the road construction projects, Light Memorial Park, Seymour Park West, and the Finger Road Softball Complex. These are the very soils that will be hauled by the Peters contract we talked about before, but we need a consultant to go out there, do the waste profiling before the landfills will accept it. We anticipate those bids coming back over the next couple of weeks while our meeting schedule is in flux. So staff is just looking to get that taken care of so we're not maintaining these soil piles outside exposed to the elements where additional contamination could run off.
So with the projects, I mean, contaminated soil can be from any number of projects.
Correct. Now, for instance, with the Finger Road Softball Complex, that's solid waste that had been deposited into a landfill. With Seymour Park and Light Memorial Park, over time, late 1800s, people had area that they wanted to reclaim and build on. So when they filled the slough associated near Seymour, they threw garbage and household debris in there. So as we're doing road construction projects or projects in the park, we encounter that historic fill, we have to dig it up and then haul it away to a landfill.
Be some,
Well, there could be
Historical
some
fill.
history there.
there
you
might
know?
be.
Like old
Sure.
bottles, any
Yeah.
kind of.
There are, but typically by the time we get after it,
pretty bad.
it's been dug up with an excavator, there's not much there to sell.
That's too bad. I like
Well, it
those
just
shows. I like
sounded
those
more,
shows.
you know.
And then
Historic
back
fill.
at first pick too.
All right, so you're looking for approval? Committee?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Number 15, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to approve and accept ownership of the stormwater management ponds for the Mahone Creek Estates and the Mahone Creek Estates First Edition subdivisions. Director.
When Mahone Creek Estates and Mahone Creek Estates First Edition were developed back in 2009, 2011, a couple of stormwater management ponds needed to be constructed out there to take the runoff from those subdivisions. For those of you not familiar, Mahone Creek Estates is north of 5457, immediately before you get to the UWGB Arboretum.
Right.
So you may remember a couple of years ago during Parks Committee, there was somebody who had built out into,
Oh, yeah.
okay, that's one of the houses in the Mahone Creek's Estates First Edition.
Okay.
So there are two stormwater ponds out there. They have been constructed up to city standard. Due to change in ownership of the original developer retired, and Capital Credit Union assumed the obligations of this. Staff is concerned that if they remain in the hands of Capital Credit Union as private ponds, they won't be properly maintained and won't operate the way that we want them to. So staff would be interested in accepting the dedication, making them city ponds so that we can ensure that they're properly maintained.
Now, would that be just the pond or the entire property?
It's the property.
Okay. All right, well, that's pretty important, I would think, so.
It is.
All the record.
So just so I understand, so the Capital Credit Union is willing to do this?
Yes, they will dedicate them over. City does not have to pay anything. They will just simply quit claim them over.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck,
Second.
seconded by Weary. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. All right, we're down to report of actions by the Department of Public Works. Do I need to go through all of these? Granting of licenses for sidewalk builders, we got quite a few. Do you want me to read those?
I'm
Sure.
okay with you not doing
That'll
it.
be my last
Okay.
hurrah.
Tongue twisters here.
Okay, ready?
Do it.
We have it, we have these folks, Dukes Concrete Construction, DeGroat Concrete LLC, The Bolt Company, Christensen Concrete and Excavating, KPC Concrete Contractor LLC, Block Construction Company, Inc., Melnaric Concrete, Inc., Titletown Construction LLC, Three Corners Concrete LLC, Everett's Concrete Construction LLC, E&I Concrete Construction, Helmley Construction and Concrete LLC, Delirious Construction, Inc., Bad Bass Concrete LLC, Anderson Basement Repair, Inc. So,
And this is just letting you know that we have already awarded these, so receive and place on file will be awarded.
Wasn't paying attention. Could you reread?
Motion to receive and place on file.
second by Eck, do we have a second? Who seconded that? Go ahead.
Second.
Second by Campbell. Any other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. Let me look here, what else we got? Informational, director's report.
I think I'd like to take the director's report and bring that together with item number 2. This is one of the primary reasons that we wanted to make sure we had this meeting. Staff wanted to make sure to recognize the 4 of you and the work that you've done. Obviously, you know, we originally were talking about not having a meeting this week, and it turned into a 16-item agenda. So
Yeah.
what we do here is not light work. Okay, what we do is very important and stuff that is critical to the everyday functioning of the city. So the fact that the 4 of you have been here for all of the meetings during 2 years, it's very much noted by staff. We do appreciate very much the seriousness, the level of preparation that the 4 of you put in. And we want to make sure that you folks know how very important it is to us. And it has been, it's been fun over the last 2 years watching Alder Eck and Alder Campbell grow into your roles. The first couple of meetings, trying to find your way and what the process under Robert's rules is, and how the 2 of you operate very much as a part of the team. The leadership and direction that the 2 senior members in Alder Weary and Sawyer that you've been able to provide has very much been appreciated. And we've gotten a lot of very serious, very heavy topics through this committee in the last 2 years, and you've worked very well with the staff. So we want to make sure that you know how much we appreciate that, and we look forward to continuing that relationship. Obviously, sad to be seeing Alder, Sawyer, and Campbell leave. We've enjoyed having you as part of the team, and you're just starting to find your footing, Alder Campbell, and
Been on a lot of streets that have been ripped up in my business, so I understand a lot of this, and all these names that I see all the time, they're all my customers, they're all
Sure.
the owners of the company. I watch their companies grow over the years, and they're very hard workers, and that's kind of cool to be able to recognize that. It doesn't surprise me that they're the lowest bidders, because they work really hard and they work as efficient, and they just get out of their way, you know. But they take a lot of pride in their work too, and you know, and I know them all, most all of them on there, so it's kind of cool to do that. You know, I very rarely get to see them anymore, but you know, when I do, it's
well, we've not always had committees where all 4 members have been pulling in the same direction. And when that happens, it makes it very, very difficult on staff to be able to do their jobs. We've not had that with the 4 of you. The 4 of you have all been very interested in seeing work get done and helping staff be successful in our jobs. So we did feel it was very, very important to make sure that you were recognized for that, and know that you have our very highest appreciation for everything that you've done over the last 2 years.
Speaking for myself, I've told this to a few other people. I've had 28 other alders that I've worked with over 12 years, and I've been on every committee that the city has, I think, almost every other committee. And this committee was truly enjoyable for the folks that were here, for the work we put in. We're friends. We're friends. And I feel like we're friends with you as well, and your staff. So, we always have to try to keep separation, like, well, we're council and your staff. And I think we were very careful not to interfere with your department. We had some differences, no doubt, over time, but, with a little bit of humor and a little of this and that, and talking about other things that interest us rather than just work has helped build a relationship. And that's something I will always remember. Anybody else?
Yeah, my number one rule is having fun. I mean, if you hate your job, then you're not going to be as efficient and effective. You know what I mean? And you're not going to imagine things. I mean, I've been known to be quite imaginary and thinking of always better ways to do things. And I like the way you think. Steve, how many more years do you got?
Well, it's a secret.
Little over one.
TBD.
Yeah,
Little over
it was a
one.
year and a half when you told us.
I'll be honest, I mean, I don't know what this town is gonna do. I'm sure you got good trained staff coming behind you.
We'll be fine.
So, yeah, it's been a pleasure. I do enjoy it. I mean, I hope that whatever stays together, you two keep going,
And I think the fact is that, we're citizens of the city too, and we're interested in good things for the city, so we will be in touch with our alders, with staff, and, I would hope that we'd be allowed to do that. I would think we are. And we will continue moving forward to try to make this a great city.
Thanks to,
Thank you.
yeah, thank
Thank you for
staff.
the kind words. Thank
Yes,
you,
yeah,
very
Mark and
much.
Steve too, and,
I don't think,
Yes.
I don't think I've ever not wanted to come to a meeting,
Yeah,
I mean, you always look forward to it.
yes.
And you and staff are always very quick to respond on things. I mean, today I think I sent something to Chris Pierlot in the morning, and the afternoon it was taken care of. And you always respond really quickly, so
Yeah,
well, that is definitely
super
appreciated.
service, yeah.
very much so.
You helped make us look good.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. What do we owe you?
But really, it's
And
true.
Chris waved
Some
the
Sunburn
ticket.
lotion.
Yeah, you want some?
Chris did wave a ticket for me that was from election night, that my truck was downtown and the thing hanging, but it was covered in snow. You know what I mean? I just left it there, it didn't have a street light.
Oh, it was bad
Headlight,
weather.
it was bad.
What agenda item is that? Anyway.
I called, you
That
guys
was
were
off the
busy. I figured you were busy with all the trees and stuff down from the wind, and,
Yeah, that was
and
That
we
was
got back
fun.
to me
quite a
next
little
day. and-
storm.
Yeah, it was not fun.
I went out to Burns Court because Melinda was in Kentucky,
Yeah.
and it was like,
Oh, they were upset, very
Yeah.
upset. They were calling me, but I'm on vacation. I did make some phone
No,
calls.
you
and
did.
It got covered, but it was.
But I'm sitting there and
crazy.
Channel 26 sticks a microphone in my face. Hey! And I'm like, what? Anyway, you had to be there. It all worked out. We all came together as a team. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's fantastic. Well, the discussion regarding projects and initiatives for the Department of Public Works.
And I don't have much in the way of projects, but initiatives. Obviously, tonight we took up the mill and pave program, so that's going to be a huge thing for us moving forward.
That's good.
We are celebrating this year 10 years of automated collection. Believe it or not, it was 2014 that we started automated
wow.
collection here.
Well,
You were part of that.
I was
discussion.
part of it, yeah.
With that, there are some things that after 10 years, I think the program does need to, we need to revisit the program a little bit and take a look at some things. What's worked and what hasn't. Obviously, cart storage being one of those.
Yeah.
Another thing that staff has talked to me about, and we're going to be having some discussion, is potentially taking a look at our bulk and brush program to see if something needs to be tweaked there as well. Contracted services is a new big item for us. We typically have done all of our design work in-house, but with the lack of available engineers out there and our inability to recruit and retain them, we're going to have to rely more heavily on outside consultants for a lot of our work, not only in our typical project design, but it has been since October, since our traffic engineer left. And we have not been successful in recruiting a traffic engineer. So I've been working with the mayor's office at looking at some consultants to help us backfill some of that need as well. So we're looking at expanding that consultant service line out there as well. GIS integration and automation. We've been implementing a lot more GIS-based programming into how we do things, which is kind of odd for us because we typically go out into the street, play in traffic, and get dirty. You don't really see a whole lot of GIS ability there. But we have been successful in taking and creating a lot of outward looking, so citizen engagement type mapping that's now available on our website. So you have the ability to see the projects that we've worked on over the last several years. We've got some other GIS things that staff have been working on with the operations group. One of the things we are considering, I'm not there yet, but during plow operations, we are looking into ways to make our plowing a little bit more visible to the outside. And what that may involve is a time lag. It may lag the actual plowing by about 2 hours or so. There are some security concerns that I'm a little worried about giving people real-time information on where snowplows are. But in order to provide some more information, both for the owners and for the general public, the ability to log in and get near real-time information on how plowing's going is something we're going to be taking a look at. We've also been able to provide a much faster, much more complete response in our sanitation, especially for special call-outs, bulk collections, things of that nature, by integrating GIS and helping develop a more efficient routing to get the truck around in the fastest way possible and hit the maximum number of stops. We passed late last year a green stormwater infrastructure plan and program and an energy efficiency program. We need now as staff to implement that into our regular workload. So as we are looking at reconstruction projects, we are looking to see, are there ways to implement green stormwater infrastructure to help supplement the gray stormwater infrastructure we've always built. We will be working with Melissa's team, which is actually part of our stormwater group, on implementation projects around the city for city initiatives to reduce carbon footprint and create higher energy efficiency, but also partnering with private entities to help those private entities, because they're going to make up, if you remember the green, the energy plan that we brought through, the lion's share of that is actually going to be private investment, not city investment. But we're that information conduit to help generate some of that. So that's a huge initiative that we're going to be working on.
And they like that a lot, right? The private sector?
Yes.
Right.
And one of the biggest initiatives that we've got going on within the department this over the course of the next year is revisiting our process documentation. We actually have a series of 3-ring binders, and I've got a full set in my office. And it's kind of our how-to guide on how we conduct business on a daily basis. Those manuals were last updated in 1990. So on a technology basis alone, a lot of that stuff is just simply outdated. So we're going through those binders. This is a process that Jim and I talked about with Matt Heckenleibel 2 years ago. To get us more current with state of the art on how things are done. And we're working really, really hard over the course of the next year to get a lot of that information down on paper, because a lot of it is carried institutionally in the heads of the senior members of this department. And we have another silver tsunami coming over the next couple of years.
Write that down.
Silver tsunami.
Silver tsunami.
Last Tuesday, Tom Giese retired from our real estate right-of-way management group. Tom was 43 years here. I'm trying to think, who else is coming up over the course of the next year, 1 to 3 years. We lost Dave Hansen last year, who had 17 years of experience here within city. Tom Shermans, who was the traffic technician. Tom is going to have over 30 years of experience. Tom will be retiring within the next 2 years, 3 years. I'm going to be retiring sometime next year. Chris Purlott is within a 3-year window. Jim is within a 3-year window or so.
Wow. What are you giving us bad news here?
Well, we've got,
Good thing we're
We
getting out, Mark.
retire every,
we've got a lot of top
passing an
end
ordinance.
Yeah, we'll get past them.
management that is nearing that retirement age. So in order to make sure, Alder Campbell made a comment that, about my leaving, that's how I know we're going to be okay, is we are taking the next year to make sure that a lot of the stuff that's currently being carried institutionally in heads and get it committed to paper so that we've got the training manuals necessary to make sure that those who are coming behind us have a path to follow.
Yeah.
I think we need to design a commission, Mark. With you with your maps and me knowing everybody, we could start a commission to help Steve
Somebody
out
with
Let
here.
me talk to my
Free time.
wife.
Yeah, free time, yeah.
I'm filling up
He
my
has two
time, and
businesses.
she's like shaking her
Free
head like. Well, great. Anything else,
So,
Director?
no, we'll open it up for any questions that you may have.
Boy, well, like
I
I
have a
said,
question.
I think, well, all the regs.
When is St. Agnes gonna be done? No, it's funny because the first thing I did as an older, I put in that request for services, but then you didn't get it, so I apparently, I don't know, whatever reason. But I do, it does.
And
need to be
Stephen
done.
for me.
I just thought I'd put that up.
Yeah, I mean, we all
St.
have our.
Agnes, we got the draft coming, people come through St.
Yeah.
Agnes. Just saying.
Just saying.
Putting a little plug in there.
Uh-huh.
It's in bad shape, have you been there?
Not recently.
Let's go with.
I mean, it's bad. I didn't even, I wouldn't bring it up so many times, and Western, if I wasn't, so. Look at me, putting that in there,
Well,
last
wow,
little
that's
thing.
nice.
And like when we talk
You need
to
to-
the staff about
I
that,
agree.
we're just passionate
It's
about
bad.
our districts too. We
Well, I
just, we
understand.
just want good things, right? That's all we want.
Might as
Anyway,
well try.
generally
We don't
speaking,
we don't take it personally, very often.
very often.
That's the problem.
I didn't blame you for the road, I'm just wondering why isn't,
Write
you know,
that
why
down,
doesn't it?
so. Very, not very often.
I just have one.
Silver's
I rode down the other day with my wife and dog, in that order, and on our bikes. And the one that goes past Baird Creek, the hill, the ski hill and all that.
Oh, Moon Valley?
Is that ever gonna
Baird Creek Road.
Is it ever gonna get done and widened?
This
Some
year.
people don't want it.
Well, they don't want it
This
too
year,
good.
People speed through
That's,
there.
that's on the docket for this year.
Is it?
Yeah.
Been
Bear
there
Creek
once.
Roads.
To get done this
I
year?
hate
Yeah.
it, so
Oh, I
that's
think
bad
that'll be a
over.
big improvement,
Our
for
son
that
almost
area.
did.
It's
Killed
pretty,
on that
Some
road.
people live on Bear Creek Road, and
Yes.
they
Racing.
like it like that.
Not
'cause the
racing, but
cars-
when he was going fast,
gonna
like he wasn't
see
I
racing.
doubt
Yeah.
it, because it's
Well-
not very wide, and the roads fall off real fast, they get
Grand
washed
Prix.
out a ton.
Yep.
Grand Prix.
And you almost can't ride in the edges because it's that rough.
Yeah.
So, and then it's so sharp, and there's so many blind spots.
Yeah, it's.
I see that they're clearing the brush along the wayside though, to clear out them blind areas, I think.
and
That or
London
the wind
Trail-
took all the
London
trees
Trails too, they're cleaning stuff.
Well, this is on the road.
Now, that's always one of the be careful what you ask for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Back in 2009 or so, we received funding to redo Manitowoc Road, where we're putting the sidewalk in now. And road was long in need of repair, we got it done, paved it out, it looked like a sheet of glass, and within 2 weeks of the construction being done, I had a communication in from then Alder Nicholson on looking for ways to slow the traffic down because the road was smooth.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Bear
Right.
I
Creek
got a
is that
bunch of
way.
signs
Well, and
Yeah, you do, slow down.
I had another
left.
alder who brought up Bond Street on a fairly regular basis. And once Bond got reconstructed, traffic was going rather fast down Bond Street, and I started getting complaints about the speed of traffic on Bond, so.
You know,
Wait,
Well-
it's just human
let me
nature.
write these
It's
streets
all
down.
over.
Way to go.
Well, they had
Hey,
a
let
lot,
me write these streets down.
somebody actually had
I will go
a
with
bumper
there.
sticker, they
Sell
were
some
gonna say,
signs.
I'm not drunk, I'm just driving on bond. You know, it's kind of like back and forth. But anyway, it's fixed, I understand what happens with that. Human nature, humans, right? It's-
Well, like I said, I was saying, my son almost got killed on Bear Creek Road.
Oh,
It's not a
He-
pothole, it's traffic calming.
Well, that's what Roger says. He doesn't want potholes fixed on
Throw a bumper
Linden
sticker
because he
for
likes the traffic calming. My civil engineer stepdad, he wants potholes,
He
which is
wants-
kind of funny.
He does.
Well, because it
'Cause
slows down
slows-
traffic.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so
a battle.
there's, that, you don't want to make it too smooth then Bear Creek.
One left.
One more, go
Before you
ahead.
do your-
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I forgot my history moment, I gotta read that too.
Roscoe?
Roscoe?
We can definitely check into it. Offhand, I don't know what the schedule is.
Because I know they're the ones with, where it drops off like 2 or 3 inches sometimes in some spots along the curb. And I know
Okay.
we had jacked some of it up, and if we're not doing it, maybe we can do some more of that again.
Sure.
Somebody broke his ankle stepping off the curb onto the road.
No,
Like, how's that happening? Right, just that little.
as an
Yeah,
act of God.
I actually have a couple of those in my
All right.
district.
Anybody else?
Today in history.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this real quick.
I'll do your intro.
I think we're good. Thanks for everything you guys do. Our next Improvement and Services Committee meeting is scheduled for May 1st, 2024. I have a little, this is my last
Little
kick.
ditty,
April
Make it a good
10th,
one.
day in history. John Madden was born in 1936. Sometime when we go out socially, I'll tell you my John Madden story. I can't really do it here. I've told you that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sometime else. He was a great guy, but I had a
Good to tell.
run-in with him. Anyway, second one.
Mark took his hamburger.
Yeah, we'll talk later. Halley's Comet reached the Perigee point nearest the Earth of its most recent visit. In fact, Mark Twain was born on November 30th, 1835, right around that time. And he said, "I came in with Halley's Comet. The Almighty has said, no doubt, now there are these two unaccountable freaks. They come in together, they must go out together." So he was born when Halley's Comet started, and he left one day later when he died on April 21st. One day after the comet had once again reached its perihelion. You want to write that down? Perihelion, that's almost like, what did director say?
Silver tsunami,
Yeah, well, no, before, there was another one
there
too.
was all kinds of,
staff mobilization, longitudinal
Longitudinal.
cracks,
Yeah, that
imminent
was a good one.
failures.
That was a good one. And then I'll finish with this. Mark Twain said, "It is better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you are a fool than to open it and remove all doubt."
I've heard that one.
And I've experienced that a few times. And that's okay. We're human.
No, never, I've had experience.
You never had that?
No.
I was at council one time where I said, I was testifying and I said, "Oh, the train just came off the track." And I actually said that in front of everybody. And then I went, "Oh, the train just came back." Were you at that meeting?
So
Anyway.
we need a motion to receive and place and file the director's report.
Yes.
right? And the rest, I don't know if we have to do that separately.
Okay. Motion by Eck, do we have a second? By Campbell?
Second.
Second by Campbell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adjournment, I would like Alder Campbell and I to ride this one out. So I will make an announcement or motion to adjourn, and Alder Campbell,
I second it.
you second it. Meeting is over.
But all in favor?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye,
Aye.
and the gavel.
Wait,
Okay.
There we go. Gotta do the gavel.
Steve,
I remember-
Steve or Jim, could I have you take a picture of us there?
yeah, let's get a
Just a little.